Out of all the agencies and arms that consist of the government of the Imperium of Man, the most secretive is the Officio Assassinorum. The Officio Assassinorum is comprised of different sects, known as temples, that train human assassins in a variety of different techniques, all of which are designed to further the goals and protect the security of the Imperium. While the agents of the various orders of the Inquisition, who are in essence the secret police force within the Imperium, strike fear into the hearts of all Imperial citizens, loyal and corrupt alike, to face the deadly disciples of the Officio Assassinorum is a terrifying prospect even to the most battle-hardened soldier. Agents of the Officio Assassinorum are typically deployed alone, trained to operate extensively behind enemy lines, with no support outside of contact from their handler, although special execution forces comprised of multiple assassins from the various temples aren't uncommon. However, the deployment of an assassin, let alone an execution force, must come from the highest echelons of Imperial command, lest they be used as tools for political subterfuge to further one's own gain. The agents of the Officio Assassinorum have claimed hundreds of millions of lives for their masters over the course of Imperial history, but their tactics differ greatly from the worldwide slaughter brought to bear by the other forces of the Imperium. While the Imperial Guard or the Adeptus Astartes may be likened to a direct and unsubtle hammer blow to bring to bear against the enemy, the Officio Assassinorum are more akin to the poisoned dagger within the dark. Each death they bequeath the enemies of mankind is a carefully crafted link in a chain that binds the realm of man to the Emperor's immortal will. Although every one of these kills is extensively documented in the data crypts of each assassin temple, only a very small fraction have entered the legends of the Imperium, known by few outside the vaulted halls of the High Lords themselves. In its earliest days, the Grand Master of the Officio Assassinorum was none other than Malcador the Sigillite. Malcador the Sigillite, the Regent of Terra, was the most powerful man within the political climate of the Imperium, second only to the Emperor himself, and was his closest advisor and friend. As the Regent of Terra, he was able to speak and act in the Emperor's stead, with the Emperor's full authority wherever he went. Malcador was also an extremely powerful psyker, again second only to the Emperor, with only the Emperor's son Magnus the Red potentially surpassing him in terms of psychic ability. He was also the man credited with founding both the Adeptus Administratum of Terra and the Officio Assassinorum, as well as laying the foundations of the organisations that would become both the Inquisition and the Grey Knight Space Marine chapter. It's also possible that, as Grand Master of the Officio Assassinorum, that he orchestrated the assassination of the two lost Primarchs. This wouldn't seem too much of a surprise, seeing as the Officio Assassinorum has sent agents against the Primarchs before. During the Horus Heresy, after War Master Horus's treachery is revealed, the Officio Assassinorum sends several operatives from each of its temples to hunt down and destroy the traitor Primarch. However, they end up failing in their mission thanks to the work of the Wordbearer's chaplain Erebus in creating the demonic assassin known as Spear. After the Battle of Terra, the Primarch of the Night Lord Space Marine Legion, Conrad Kurz, is targeted by the Calidus Temple. The assassin known as Meshen entered Night Haunter's throne room on the wood of Salgalassa to find not only no resistance from the Night Lord's Legion, but also the Primarch himself unresisting. Conrad Kurz believed that by allowing the Emperor to kill his own son, his actions for his rebellion would be vindicated forever, for in death he proved that the Emperor is as callous as he always maintained. However, the main piece of evidence for Malcador orchestrating the assassination of the lost Primarchs comes from the artwork for the audio drama The Sigillite. In this piece of artwork, we see Malcador sitting on his throne and brandishing his rune, the stylized eye that would later form the seal of the Inquisition. At his feet is a featureless mask, which, thanks to the novel Nemesis, we knew that all the representatives of the Officio Assassinorum wore during their meetings. But the most interesting thing about this picture is that on Malcador's throne, on the armrests, are a pair of skulls engraved with numerals. These numerals are for the numbers 2 and 11, the numbers representing those of the two lost legions of the Legio Astartes. This strongly suggests that despite whatever transgression these lost Primarchs committed to have them erased from Imperial history, their fate was certain. That ultimately, they were assassinated under the orders of Malcador, with their skulls embedded into his personal throne as a symbol of his authority and power. However, there is also one more possibility to these skulls, that the throne that Malcador is seated upon is none other than the Golden Throne. The origin of the device that would form the Golden Throne is currently unknown, but it was discovered by the Emperor sometime in the 30th millennium during the unification of Terra, buried deep within the deserts of Asia, long before the construction of the Imperial Palace. The original use that the Emperor had intended for the Golden Throne was to serve as a webway portal based upon Terra. Over a period of several centuries, the Emperor directed tens of thousands of tech priests of the Mechanicum into modifying the throne so it can be incorporated as the nexus of the webway project to be used as a means of circumventing the dangers of the warp and connecting all the branches of mankind instantaneously, creating a truly unified human race and eliminating the need for warp travel. Eventually, the Golden Throne itself was also modified to serve as a life support mechanism for the Emperor after his final duel with his traitorous son Horus Lupercal. It's hard to tell if this is the Golden Throne, however, as the Golden Throne itself has had no one clear depiction in official Warhammer 40,000 artwork, but Malcador has been known to sit upon it for at least one occasion. But if this is indeed the Golden Throne, then the presence of the lost Primarch skulls could mean a fate worse than death awaited them. The Golden Throne itself is powered by the lives and souls of Psykers, and it is known that the Primarchs themselves were Psykers in some degree, although some had a much higher psychic potential than others, most notably Magnus the Red, Lorgar Aurelian, and Conrad Kurz. It is possible that the lost Primarch's sentence was to be used to power the Golden Throne, and their skulls mounted into its housing, so that the sons can remain close to their father, the Emperor of Mankind, even in death and eternal torment. There is just one problem with this particular theory: the size of the skulls themselves. The Primarchs were giants of men, larger even than the Astartes they commanded. A Primarch with Astartes was rather relative to the height of an Astartes compared to an unaugmented human. These skulls initially appeared to be far too small to be that of a mighty being such as a Primarch. However, the Primarchs themselves were not all a uniform height. Vulcan was the largest of the Primarchs, and in his power armour was the same size as Horus while he was in his Terminator armour, which is much larger and bulkier compared to standard power armour. Alfarius, on the other hand, was rather short, comparable in size to a large Astartes. Now, there is always the possibility the two lost Primarchs could have been rather short compared to their brothers, but it seems more likely these skulls were merely decorative, with the numbers of the lost legions engraved upon them, so that Malcador would have some memento of their existence, perhaps even due to a nagging guilt within his soul. Thanks for watching.